The young man leaves the house reporting that he is going to the library. He walks up to the bike, rolls up his jeans and sets off. Two school children are walking down the street talking about going to an internet club. Their conversation is interrupted by a guy riding a bicycle at high speed. The students freeze, not understanding what just swept past them. A cyclist sees an obstacle in the form of asphalt repairs appear on his way. But the young man easily overcomes this obstacle. He picks up speed and jumps over a hole in the ground. After driving a little further, the guy slides down the steps on which a couple of lovers were sitting. Seeing a bicycle rush past them, the couple freezes in horror. Jumping down the stairs, the young man slows down and, closing his eyes, continues the trip at the usual pace. There was a pandemonium of guys on the street. They were all admiring one of the guy's new bike. He clearly felt superior among other cyclists. There was a buzz around. Everyone was asking various questions, ranging from the cost of the bike ending with the question of weight. The owner of this fashionable bike was a young man named Kim Tae-jin from Sangmo High School. The student was in his second year of study. Two guys admired the transport and asked Tae-jin if they could ride his bike. But the young man replied that they should be jealous in silence and ride their own. There were two guys standing to the side who were dissatisfied with Tae-jin's behavior and the fact that he had recently received a new bike and now bought another one. Tae-jin noticed how some guy was about to move off the hill. The crowd quickly switched from the topic of the new bike to that young man. The guys don't understand how he was going to perform this trick on a cross-country bike. Meanwhile, the young man at the top of the hill puts on a hood and prepares for the exit. He drives down the mountain and the words of his parents fly through his head. They have been talking about excellent studies all their lives because the heir of their family should be a talented person with the highest achievements compared to the rest. The guy moves off the hill and performs skid braking. The tire on his bike is smoking because of the high speed, and in some places it began to fall off. The guys who watched this don't understand how he managed to perform skidding on a bicycle without brakes. When using this technique, the cyclist, in order to brake, must hold the pedals with the strength of his legs. Yoon Minwoo and Lee Junsu recognized the student council president in this guy. Minwoo replied to his friend that since he stopped studying he didn't care who the president was. But after this guy performed skidding at such a speed, Minwoo decides that they definitely need to say hello if they meet at school. There is a lot of noise at Taeyong High School. Students can be heard talking everywhere. The president is sitting in the classroom and, under the loud conversations of his classmates, is preparing for the upcoming lesson. A girl named Mian is sitting at the next desk watching the student. The student's friend abruptly puts her hand on the girl's shoulder and asks why she looks so embarrassed. It's almost exam time, so my friend assumes that Mian is studying even harder. The girl also asked if Mian was additionally engaged in the student council these days. The girl smiles and replies that she is trying to cope. Deciding that Mian answers evasively, the friend jokingly asks if the president is offending her. The girl suddenly blushes and, slightly stuttering, answers in the negative. A friend notices Mian's strange behavior, so she decides to ask if the president has touched her. Upon hearing this, Mian quickly denies the words of the classmate. Then the friend says that grades are definitely important, but it seems to her that Jaein takes it too seriously. She gets the impression that studying is the only thing he is capable of. And when someone tries to talk to him, he always responds as if all people are nothing to him. Then Mian objects, saying that Jaein is not like that. According to the girl, he just can't express his emotions normally. The young man is very responsible and kind. After hearing this, Yoonha decides that her friend has fallen in love with Jaein. A student enters the classroom and all the girls start shouting Minwoo's name. The students quickly surround the guy and start asking various questions. Yoonha is extremely unhappy that he showed up in their class at such an early hour and on top of that caused so much noise. Minwoo turns his gaze to the girl and sarcastically replies to her that he did not come to admire her. After the guy called the student pimply, she becomes enraged. The girl starts swearing at the young man for the whole class, and Mian tries to calm her friend down, explaining that the twins should not fight with each other. All this was watched by Han Nam, who admired Yoonha. He thinks the girl is cute even when he's angry. Meanwhile, Minwoo, muttering to himself, swears at his sister. Already on the way out of the classroom, the young man notices Jaein. He approaches the student and greets him in English. Jaein looks up at the unknown guy and declares that he is now very focused on studying. So if the young man has nothing to do with him, then it's not worth distracting him. Then Minwoo puts his hand on Jaein's notebook and asks if he rides a bike. He also offers to join their team. The student looks at Manwha as if he didn't understand what the young man was talking about. Then Manwha says that his descent yesterday was done abruptly. Seeing the descent that trick with skidding, everyone was shocked. The guy had no idea that someone from school was riding a cross-country bike. And besides, he is also the president of the school. Therefore Manwha specifically came to personally invite Jae-hyun because he wants to work with him as a teammate. But Jae-hyun doesn't care about it. He looks down at the notebook again and starts writing something there. Manwha gets angry and tells Jae-hyun that he could at least pay attention to who is talking to him. Noticing how his brother is talking to Jae-hyun, Yoonha becomes interested in what they are talking about. In response to Manwha's suggestion, the student replies that he is not interested in such things. Jae-hyun also says that if the young man has finished speaking, he asks not to distract him from his studies anymore. Manwha gets even more annoyed, but he still leaves, saying after him that he is really sorry that he disturbed Jae-hyun. When the student left, the president remembered how his uncle had given him a bicycle, for the man said that this bike had been with him since when he was a professional racer. Uncle would like Jae-hyun to take care of the bike properly. The man then said that studying was good, but the uncle wanted Jae-hyun to have fun on the street sometimes. My uncle also promised that when Jae-hyun was good enough to skate, he would take him to the competition with him. The school day ends and the students begin to go home. Yoonha yawns after a hard day and complains that another day of her youth has been wasted. Manwha smiles and in order to encourage her friend says that the holidays will begin after the exams. Yoonha complains that she is a young blooming girl. She does not want to believe that this year will end without romance. The girl is tired of the routine. It's the same everyday school courses home. The friend replies that Yoonha would not be a pessimist. In any case, they will have something good to remember in the future. While the girl continues to complain to her friend, Han Nam suddenly runs up to them and offers Yoonha to watch a zombie movie. The girls are very scared of the appearance of a classmate, so Yoonha hits the guy in the stomach. After Yoonha yelled at a classmate for following her, they decided to leave. Khan shouted after us that he had a new TV at home with a large diagonal. The girl gets angry and answers him that she has courses today, so the girl does not have time to watch the movie. Despite the fact that sunset is coming on the street, Jae-hyun is still in the classroom. The young man looks out the textbooks in a briefcase. Suddenly there are footsteps in the classroom. The president turns around and sees Manwha. The guy clears his throat and informs that he has come to ask again about joining the team. If Jae-hyun really doesn't want it, then he doesn't need to join the team. But among the guys there are those who are not averse to competing with the president. Therefore Manwha suggests to come and compete with someone from the team tonight.